4, 3. Welcome. Let me go ahead and read the electronic executive order and get a second. Pursuant to Governor Lee's executive order number 16 regarding electronic meetings as extended by executive orders number 34 and 51, I make a motion that this committee meeting agenda constitutes essential business of the Metropolitan Council and that meeting electronically is necessary to protect the health, safety, and welfare of Tennesseans in light of the COVID-19 outbreak. Can I get a second?
Second.
Thanks very much. Okay, first and second. Okay, let me do a roll call. If you could help me by raising your hands if you're on the committee so I can see you. Okay, Delisha, got you. Tanya?
I'm here. I'm not seeing my hand raising thing. Oh, there it is.
Oh, Tom? Okay.
Yep, here.
I'm not sure if I'm on the committee or not. This is Councilwoman Hurt.
I'm glad to have you on the committee. You're on my list, so I'm excited. Thank you. Councilman Rosenberg, currently, Mr. Cooper, it looks like I have Porterfield, Cash, Hancock, Hurt, and Rosenberg. Is that correct?
That is who I'm seeing, Mr. Chair.
Chair, I do believe that Councilwoman Lee is attending through the phone. She may be listed as an attendee right now. I'm not sure if she's on as a panelist.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, if she gets bumped over as a panelist, then we can make note of that and add her at that time.
Okay, so we're okay to proceed with 5?
Yes. Yeah, in fact, the quorum requirements have been suspended while we're meeting remotely, so it's fine.
Thanks, Mr. Cooper. Okay, we just have one bill on in the Education Committee. It's Bill 2019-11. Approves an amendment to the ground lease for Rose Park between Metro Parks and Recreation in Belmont, and a new ground lease between the Metro Board of Public Education, Belmont, for the construction and operation of an indoor batting and locker training facility. Council Lady Allen, are you on?
She's talking about this bill in planning, I can see.
Yeah, me too.
Okay. So I have a letter from her. She anticipated this, and she has a substitute. I need someone to move the substitute.
I'll move the substitute. That's Hancock.
And second?
Second.
Okay, let me read her letter that might help clarify everything for us. Because this bill is being considered by 4 different committees, I may have overlapping meetings and not be able to attend the committee in person. I would request your support for the substitute ordinance that includes the updated lease agreement unanimously passed by the MNPS board last week, and for an amendment that adjusts the structure of the oversight committee to ensure balance. The substitute also includes updated non-discrimination language requested by Council Member Van Rees. The school lease agreement allows for Belmont University to build and maintain at its own expense a batting facility to be shared with MNPS at Rose Park Middle School. This bill, as substituted, as amended, includes many key items requested by adjacent neighborhood associations, including an escalation clause for lease payments, shortening the lease, requiring detailed reports about facility use, and creation of a neighborhood oversight committee. This is a better project because of extensive community participation, and I ask for your support. Berkeley Allen. So I noticed that Mr. North is also, I saw him on here in case there's some questions, but any discussion? Yes, Ms. Porterfield.
Thank you so much, Chair. I've been getting a lot of calls today about people in the community that have some concerns about the particular legislation. It appears that a lot of the concerns are based more so around Belmont's previous lease agreement with Metro Parks, and I'm having a hard time deciphering which of those concerns are actually going to impact MNPS. So it seems like there's an appetite to work through whatever those previous concerns were. But with regards to MNPS, I know that I've spoken with individuals at Rose Park, and I've heard from individuals with MNPS, and there seems to be a lot of support around this legislation, as it will provide an opportunity for students that, unfortunately, we as a city are not in a position to give them. We're not in a position to build a batting facility for MNPS. We're not in position to fund this type of facility for our schools. So I've heard from a lot of people that are in support of this legislation, but I did want to also acknowledge that some of the people in the community have still expressed some concerns, again, primarily around that previous lease agreement. And I think the concerns are, if some of those things that happened with the agreement with the park will happen with the agreement with school. So I'm not sure if there's someone here from Belmont that can maybe speak to some of those community concerns.
Mr. Cooper, do you know if someone?
Yes, Mr. Chair, Jason Rogers from Belmont is on the call.
Okay. Mr. Roger, did you hear the question?
Yes, I did. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Thank you. Can you comment on that?
Yes, appreciate the question. Belmont and Metro Parks have been engaged in a lease agreement for over 10 years now that involves the operation of Rose Park proper, with funds exclusively provided by Belmont to redevelop baseball, softball, track, and soccer facilities. That is an arrangement that has worked very well for the community, for Metro Parks, for Belmont over the last 10 years or so. And in fact, a representative of Metro Parks is now in the planning meeting, ready to address this precise issue at the planning committee meeting. And he will also be phoning in at the public hearing tonight and can address these issues. But from Belmont's perspective and our feedback we have received from our partners in the community, it's a relationship that has worked well and that has provided state-of-the-art facilities for the use of the community and the student athletes at the adjacent schools within Rose Park.
Thank you. Councilor Porterfield, any follow-up to that?
Not at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Hancock, I see you have a question.
Thank you, Chair. I just want to thank Councilor Porterfield for her remarks. We have been getting a lot of emails, and I agree. A lot of that is concern from previous relationships with the parks, and I think that both Belmont as well as MNPS have done a great job in planning for this and evaluating. They worked with the LGBTQ caucus just this past weekend, and I think overall this is probably one of the most vetted projects we're going to see. And I'm proud of Councilor Lady Allen for putting this through, and I'm in support. So I just wanted to say that. Thank you.
Thanks so much. Councilor Lady Hurd, I noticed your question.
Thank you, Councilman Jeffro. I didn't really have a question, but I wanted to add some historical information. And as Councilmember Porterfield mentioned, the concern about those who are in opposition is from the previous, because previously, when they started the whole exchange of Rosa Parks, there was not much community engagement. And it was the onset of gentrification coming in that community. But since that time, they have a community liaison in Joy Searcy, who has done an outstanding job in assisting with building that trust and relationship. And the kids love that park as they will love this batting facility. I think that it is going to be a great addition to that community. And for those that we've gotten support from, many of them work directly with the residents in Edge Hill, and they really know what's happening on the ground. I speak specifically of Dewana Wade, who's with one of the local nonprofits, Salama, which has been a part of an annual program that I've been a volunteer for, as well as Brenda Morrow, who I've worked very closely with, and she's been in that community working with kids for 25 years plus. So I too am in support of it, and know that this is going to be something much better for the community at large, and especially for our youth. And I just wanted to add that piece as well. Thank you.
Thanks, Councilor Hurd. Thanks for the comments. Councilman Member Cash, see your hands up.
Thank you. I also want to speak in support. I, as a nearby council member, I went to several community meetings. They were well attended. The discussion was rich. These community meetings were like last fall. There have been smaller group meetings since then. And I know not all, but many of the issues were ironed out. Belmont made some significant changes to the lease based on those concerns. And additionally, I know as a parent and a former Metro teacher how badly we need sports fields and sports facilities. You know, I, as a teacher at Hume Fogg, I know that our teams, we had a gym finally, but we didn't have many, the same campus that many other schools had. And we really sent our teams all over the city to do practices and have games. We finally were able to have our own basketball games. But then also as a parent, I know my kids weren't in baseball, but they were in soccer and cross country. And we traveled, you know, like outside to the outskirts of the county or the outside of the county. I think we have a shortage of sports facilities for our kids in the urban core of Nashville. And now that we have a partner that will help us build some, I think this is a win-win. Thanks.
Thank you, Councilman Cash. Councilwoman Evans, I just saw you attend. So on the substitute bill currently, and Mr. Cash, any more comments? Any further comments? Okay, all those in favor, can you say yay?
Aye.
Yay.
Any opposed?
Me, Aaron Evans. Thank you.
Okay, sorry. Okay. So 5-4, 1 against. We have a amendment that I need someone to recommend. Can someone move the amendment?
So move.
Second.
Second. Can someone second?
Point of order.
Second.
Yeah.
Point of order, Chair. Is the amendment on the legislation that we just voted to approve?
Mr. Cooper?
Yes, the amendment is to the substitute. So you just moved to, you just approved the substitute, and now this is an amendment to the substitute.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, did I get that in the right order?
Yes, sir, you did. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, thanks for checking with me. I don't know if Councilwoman Allen is here, but the language in the substitute had a lot to do with really helping create equity within that neighborhood. And there's a lot of detail to it, but I know Councilwoman Allen did a lot of work to try to make this and to create a true partnership. Is there any further discussion? And I don't see Councilwoman Allen to explain any more, but I had a chance to read through it, and I'll be glad to read it in her absence if there's questions. Any discussion? Okay. Those in favor of the amendment, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? So 6 in favor of the amendment, 0 opposed. I need a motion to move as substituted and amended.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, passes. Our recommendation is 6-0. Just as a parting comment, thank you. I'm looking forward to working with you on the Education Committee. Ms. Porterfield did a great job last year and had this, of course, the area with COVID, but I heard some of her ideas and hope to carry those through. And on the Education Committee, I plan on spending some time to get to know you a little bit more so that we can work together and make this a great committee. Thanks so much.